The fact that this game got a sequel greenlit is a mystery we'll never, ever, ever be able to crack, right? Like, and apart from that, it's incredible how your perception changes of things as you get older. When I was young, I loved this game. On replay, holy crap. Just watch the review. What up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am your host, Mike Fury, and I make informative videos just like this one. So please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. And welcome to my review for Dead Island, the definitive edition, along with Riptide. What should be a fun island resort built for amazing family vacations turns into this nightmarish bloodbath after zombie outbreak occurs. You are one of the few survivors who are immune to the transformation. Thus, you are tasked with helping all the other survivors. Finding the cause of all of this and locating a escape route is paramount. And that's about it. Now, if you're looking for a gripping narrative, Dead Island does not have one. This is D-tier movie stuff. You will complete tasks to progress the story, move along with your really small group of silly generic characters from location to location, ending with a bad over-the-top antagonist, which turns into a ridiculous boss fight. But hey, there's co-op. But like I said in my Dying Light review, we are not here for the story.
That's the last one?
The remastering of this game looks solid at best. Now, in comparison to previous games, yes, this looks great in comparison. Now, to current graphics, not so much. Even in the realm of other remasters, it's like, y'all could have done more. But it's THQ, and they are basically flipping these remasters for a profit. So that is what it is type of thing. The island looks good. Shallow waters, bungalows, crazy zombies, tons of palm trees, and as you progress through the different acts, you will see portions of the city, and it looks dark and damp, almost post-apocalyptic. Then you reach the jungle and the prison, and these locations have their certain level of atmosphere and feel. The zombies, even though super repetitive, have enough variety along with the human enemies to keep everything interesting. There's also something to be said about the cool looking weapons you can construct, but at the same time, we also got to talk about the bland guns in the game. But you can't get everything right? There's also small details here and there, the gore, the bone breaking when killing enemies, the ragdoll effects, the weather effects, they are very good. But then we have a terrible amount of facial animations. Like every two things they get right, they get another thing wrong. So kind of a mixed bag, but leaning more into the good side.
I grew up in New Orleans, lower Ninth Ward. My daddy went to prison when I was 2.
Wait! Hey! Can you hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Nod your head! Nod your bloody head!
I ain't asking you again. Oh, thank God.
You want another mixed bag? Audio. The soundtrack is fine. It gets the job done, especially in confined locations where it's one way in and no way out type of thing. So the devs were smart to not have the music playing and have this ominous, airy feel to everything, this airy sound and this environmental audio, and all you can hear is either the screams coming towards you or the screams in the background and things like that. That is very smart. It's also an underutilized thing. I think a lot of people would benefit, a lot of devs would benefit from silence. Sometimes silence is one of the best things you could possibly do in video games. This silence helps with the tension because at the end of the day, this is a zombie game. So we have even a bunch of good small details as well. The slicing, stabbing, and bone breaking action sounds pretty darn good, along with the explosions. Then we get to the guns and they sound okay. Where it drops off for me is the voice acting, as it is a combination of both the delivery of the voice acting and the actual dialogue itself. The writers are absolutely terrible. These characters, these NPCs are extremely laughable. None of them can be taken serious. Every single line you just hear and you're like, what? Like, who talks like this? It lacks everything from inflection to tone to everything. It just sounds very dumb. Like, I just gotta say it like that. It sounds very dumb.
Yeah, get off me!
There's really nothing here to stimulate the senses.
What is this, Brit 6? A candle?
Are
Some
you
beans?
dancing?
A pumpkin?
Did you just turn off my radio?
Hey, yo, you and your motherfucking radio.
Don't touch my radio. Don't touch my thermostat.
Who touched the thermostat? Dead Island's saving grace is the gameplay, because nobody can say that Dead Island isn't fun, especially with friends, because there's something about running around with your boys, smacking zombies with or from a boat or with a bat with nails in it, and just having a blast, just destroying all of these fools as you just progress through the game. There's something to be said about that, and it is super enjoyable. So at the beginning of the game, you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna pick one of 4 classes, one of 5 in reality, but one of 4 classes, and you will definitely see their differences, their backgrounds, and their strengths and weaknesses and things like that. Each one of them specializes in a certain area of the game or a certain area of combat. So depending on what you feel like doing is what you're gonna pick, right? I picked Sam B because number 1, he is a tank, and number 2, he made the smash hit of the summer, Hoodoo You Voodoo.
Zombie army, and you can't harm me.
Hey,
Yeah,
watch
voodoo,
it.
you voodoo. Drink blood like a vampire without warning. Hoodoo, you voodoo. Stand up. Sam B got the thing that go bump in the night. Whoa. Hoodoo, you voodoo.
But at the same time, he also happens to have the lowest damage output out of each and every single character. You also have an ex-cop who's good with guns. You have a Chinese secret agent who's good with sharp weapons, because that sounds just nuts. And you have an ex-football player who's good at throwing stuff. Each one of them has their own stats, their own progression, and they complement each other, especially during co-op gameplay, which I imagine the devs had in mind when they created this game. Fun with friends, and therefore they can sell more copies because more friends wanted to play with each other, etc., etc. Once you have your characters, welcome to the first-person action survivor game. You will do missions, go on quests, level up, and tons of progression, because that it does have. It has tons of different levels to the progression, especially when you get into the DLC, but we'll talk about that in a bit. There is a bunch of meaningless side quests. Let me say that right now. We have escort quests, we got finding water or food, clearing out areas, finding a car, getting gas. And if the tone of the game was appropriate, these things would matter, right? But the tone of the game is all over the place. It's so zany and so crazy that none of this really matters in the long haul for the game, because you'll be like, I can't even take it serious. But yes, this is the type of thing you will be doing. Now, you will also be fighting and crafting new equipment as you gather XP and level up. These swarms of zombies have an excellent amount of variety. I do gotta say that. You got walkers, you have infected, you have suiciders, thugs, among many more. So while you're fighting this plethora of zombies, you will be running, managing your inventory, using your different weapons that lose durability the more you use them, and exploring this beautiful island. Also find materials, blueprints to construct these awesome weapons with these great mods. And this is when Dead Island is at its best. When you hit this loop, when you're just doing runs and going to workbenches, unloading your bounty, constructing weapons, and these awesome things like the Dio bomb. You make a bomb out of deodorant, which is nuts. And then you have the barbed wire bat or the electric katana. And this is when it's super fun, and especially with your friends, as you guys can exchange parts that each and every single one of you need. So for example, I'm usually Sam B. If my friend happens to be a quarterback, he can just throw stuff. I can throw any type of weapon towards him so he can use. But if there's a cop or if there's the secret agent, you could go ahead and just toss either a sword or a gun over to them, because that is their affinity, right? So everybody has a class that they specialize in, therefore there's no infighting for the best weapons in the game. Throw in a few boss battles here and there, some really good loot, and some interesting locations, and there you have it. That is the Dead Island package.
We spotted that naval vessel just in time, as we were just about out of petrol. We couldn't believe how lucky we were to finally find a safe haven.
Introducing Riptide, the official, unofficial expansion to Dead Island. It was sold separately, which is the craziest part, but yes, it was sold separately. You would think that they would try to change things a little bit. They didn't. It's the continuation to the story. It's kind of like Dead Island 1.5 in reality. Now, the story continues with the same protagonist as they leave the island. Spoiler warning, yes, they do eventually leave the island and crash land on another one, basically repeating the same issues that we had on the previous island. Now, the best part about Riptide is that it comes with a bunch of reworking, a bunch of overhauls, a bunch of changes, which make it a better experience, for the most part. We get to import our characters from Dead Island. We get a higher level cap. We get new zombie classes. We get a new weapon. We get a new vehicle. We get increased durability for our weapons. We get new weapon proficiencies for each and every single class. We even get a overhauling to the zombie spawning system, which makes it much more organic. I do feel like they could have done a bunch of changes to the actual setting itself, not putting us on another island, but hey, it is what it is. It is a swampy jungle, in contrary to the regular jungle that we had in the previous game. Anyways, I do believe that Riptide is the definitive way to play Dead Island for the most part.
The two others will come with me.
Love.
Hey, do we look like goddamn guinea pigs
I'm a
to you?
citizen of the USA, man. I got motherfucking rights.
Now, if you're wondering why I've said for the most part a lot in this review, it's because the sheer amount of negatives that I'm about to talk about is nothing short of spectacular. Like it's a lot of negatives. So let's get right into it. The story, it's super slow. It's so slow. Takes much longer than necessary to progress. The quest design is terrible. I talked about it earlier. It's so simple and so dull and boring. The cutscenes are laughable. Every character in the game, whether it's NPC, whether it's protagonist, is super bland, and it deals with super serious subject matter like complete fools. And then they release Riptide and they neglected to fix key issues with the game. For example, you see that nice legendary you got there where you were lucky to get? It gets outclassed by regular white weapons in the next 2 levels. Regular weapons that you can find in the world, it gets outclassed by that. The legendary that you were lucky to find gets outclassed in 2 levels. In other words, the weapon scaling is terrible, and it makes no sense. How does a regular white rarity weapon do more damage than my crazy medieval electronic legendary axe? I ask you.
That makes no fucking sense.
Guns are way too weak. It's incredible how the same developer, Techland, got guns extremely wrong in this game, and then you get guns in Dying Light, and to remedy that, literally make them overpowered in Dying Light. But that's just the base game. They're much more viable, but at the same time eventually get way too powerful in Riptide. Mind you, in Riptide, the story beats don't get better. Any of the issues in the base vanilla game don't get addressed in Riptide, which is astonishing for me. They just made a bunch of changes, and where they killed me is that they removed legendary weapons from quest rewards. This is a change that is completely unnecessary. So now you could only find them in chests in the open world. I don't understand this. I don't understand that change. And it's this collective of ridiculous changes and just not addressing issues and bad stories and a lot of just negatives in reality is the reason why, for the most part, this game is a whole for the most part.
Wants to get nice and gross.
I know, right? Fury, this is
I
literally a blood
I
tank.
threw a knife into somebody, and I needed to get it back. You son of a bitch.
You took too long.
I told you I gave you a countdown.
I'ma kill you. I'm so gonna kill you.
In conclusion, Dead Island, the definitive edition, is a zombie dumpster fire. But plot twist, I still kind of like it. See that right there? That is a better story told through a video than anything that you will find. Oh my God, I hope Dead Island 2 is so much better than this. The final score for Dead Island, the definitive edition, is a 5 out of 10 by yourself. It's a 6 out of 10 with friends because everything is much better with friends. Now let's go ahead and answer the 3 questions, shall we? Is it fun? Is it worth it? And is it for you? Is it fun? Yes, you can find enjoyment by yourself, but it's much more fun when you play with friends. Even the glitches are much more enjoyable with friends. I got killed by a revolving door that was unhinged and just smacking us around.
Damn.
Yo, this is top tier gaming right here. Oh, it killed me.
Bye.
Yo, this
Okay, let's go
game
to the
is
gas station.
nuts. I lost $589 because these goddamn developers suck at patching this bull. Oh, this is hilarious.
Yo, this game, I swear to God, is it worth it? You can find this really cheap. If I'm not mistaken, if you just want base Dead Island, you can find it at $5. If you want the definitive edition, you can find it under 10, which I do recommend. If you get the whole entire edition, it brings 3 games under $10. Definitely recommend it at that price. Don't you dare pay full MSRP for this bad boy, I swear to God. And finally, is it for you? If you're a fan of games like, I would say, what can I say? There's really no other mess like this. If you like Dying Light, and Dying Light has a very good co-op game as well. If you like games like that, if you like games like the original Borderlands, if you want to have friends come together and play in this open world and get into all types of shenanigans, this is perfect for all of you guys. If not, I don't know what kind of game. Who in their right mind playing a single player game would decide to play Dead Island by themselves? I don't know. But hey, that is it for the review, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. I'm hoping to get a code for Dead Island 2. I'll definitely be reviewing it, even regardless if they give me a code. I'm still going to review it. I'll just review it at the end when they give me all of the DLC that they're planning. Hopefully that the game is much better, not only technically, sound-wise, audio-wise, the whole presentation's better, hopefully. But anyways, you guys, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and make sure to support the channel in any way, shape, or form. You can go ahead and check the Amazon link or the Epic Creator code down in the description below. You could also follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Links are down there as well, along with my Patreon. $1 a day keeps the landlord away. I'm your host, Mike Fury. It's been a complete pleasure. Until next time, Mike.